welcome to Move Through the Holidays. We are going to talk about bending, lifting, and reaching activities that we do regularly in life and how we can make them a little bit less painful when you are hypermobile. So you will need a chair today or something you can sit down on. A stick is also great, like a broom or a Swiffer. We're going to review your squat and your deadlift that we learned earlier, and then we're going to talk about some reaching activities as well. So grab your chair, and stick is optional, and let's build some stability for your hypermobility. So we tend to get hurt with day-to-day movements. It doesn't always mean you're doing it wrong. We just need to work on these movements in day-to-day life so that the load is not too much. A lot of times it becomes too much too soon. So it's not necessarily that you lifted incorrectly. It's that your spine, you went from lifting 0 pounds to lifting 25 pounds. That's actually a pretty big increase, or hundreds of pounds, whatever it is that you've injured yourself at. It's not so much a mechanical issue. It's likely that your body has not built up to it. So if we can build up to a pretty high level safely, then it makes it a little bit easier to translate over into daily life. That being said, I'm still going to be pretty picky as far as your technique, but what matters is really that we're lifting and that we're listening to our bodies, and not as much how we're doing it, as long as we are staying within small increases in movement so that we're not doing too much too soon. Okay, so we're going to start with our squat, which we learned a week or so ago. If you want, go back to that video if you want more in-depth cues. I'm gonna assume that you've seen that video, and so we're gonna jump right in. So you're gonna stand in front of a chair or something stable that does not have wheels. I do not want you sliding away. You're going to stand pretty close to it. The corner actually works really, really nice because it allows you to get a little closer versus here. I have to reach back a little bit more. I'm going to go here. We're going to roll our shoulders back, hold our hands together, pretend we're holding something. Feet about hip width apart. You're going to breathe in. As you do, bend your knees. As you blow out, push through your feet. Notice where the weight is in your feet. Should be toes, midfoot, and heel, especially the base of that big toe keeps some movement, or it's stabilizing. Breathe in and blow out. I'm noticing a little bit of inner knee pain today, pretty mild, but I'm just going to adjust how my stance is. Ooh, yeah, my knee does not like that today. Probably doesn't help that I'm lifting in slippers. So I'm actually going to go a little bit more shallow today. Listen to where your body's at for that day. Making sure our knees aren't caving in or going out too far. Even the shoulders back. Okay. Next, we're going to go into a little bit of a hinge. This is where if you have a stick, that's great. I'm actually going to grab a foam roller just to show you. If you've worked on the deadlift in the older video, sometimes we need a little bit extra support. So you can take a foam roller here, roll those shoulders back, slide the foam roll down your legs and back up. This forces you to keep your body a little bit closer, or your center of mass a little bit closer. So I'm just rolling it down, sticking my hips back. I'm feeling a lengthening in my hamstrings, coming back up. Don't forget that shoulder setting. Breathing in as we go down, blow out as we come up. Weight shifting back in our heels, back towards our toes. We're not going all the way down. I know you can. We're going to keep it controlled. Using tools like this can be really helpful from a neuro standpoint as far as teaching our brain different movement patterns. I'm just going to show you from another angle. I think maybe you can see this here and back up. So my knees are loose, they're not locked out, but as I go back, I'm just sliding straight down. My knees aren't coming too far forward. If they come too far forward, then you're gonna lose control of the foam roll. Oop, that was too far back. All right, so that's another good one. So we got our squat and our hinge to work on regularly a couple times a week. Eventually, we want load with that, as those are gonna translate over into daily life. Now we can combine the two to create more of a conventional deadlift, which is gonna be from the ground. That's gonna translate more into your day-to-day life if you're picking something up. So I'm just gonna, I mean, you can use anything. I wouldn't use a ton of weight right now, but if you find something nearby to pick up, just pick it up and see how you feel. So first thing to notice is, especially if something has load, we want to be really close to it. That's like with our squat and our deadlift. We want to get close to the item. Next, we're always going to remember our shoulders back. When our shoulders come forward and we get rounding of the spine, we can strengthen that pattern. It does put our joints in a little bit weaker because we don't usually use it that often or load it in that position in day-to-day life. Some do. A lot of us don't because it hurts. So if we can roll those shoulders back and use these bigger muscles in our legs to allow the lifting to happen, it can make it a lot easier on us. Shoulders are back, knees are loose. We're gonna hinge, so those weight's gonna go back into your heels a little bit. Toes stay down. I don't want you falling over backwards. Put back a little. There's a certain point with our deadlift, for example, the one we did with the foam roll, we stop when we get to the knees, but somehow we have to get all the way down to the floor. And that's where we can combine the squat pattern. We're mostly hinged, then we're going to bend our knees, pick it up, push through the ground, come up all the way. Let's try it again. So shoulders, knees loose, hinge. Are we close to the item? I could probably be closer. Shoulders, hinge, and bend. Come straight up. And so we're going to go through again those three patterns because it's going to take repetition, and you may need to go back to those other videos as well to practice. We're going to do 2 sets of 6 for each of those. And then as far as reaching, where we go wrong in hypermobile bodies, especially with hypermobile shoulder blades, is the reach turns into up and forward. Most of the time, if you've been in a gym setting, they've probably cued pull your shoulders back and down, and there is absolutely a time for that. But often what we need is to strengthen up and forward to reach safely. We also want to make sure we're not reaching to where we pull our shoulder blade out or our shoulder joint out of socket. We want to use these muscles around your shoulder blade to help. So to strengthen up and out, you're just going to do like a bottoms up. You're going to pretend like you're holding something here. You could also hold like a can of soup or a water bottle. Actually, I'm going to grab my water bottle. All right, this one's harder than it looks. So you're going to come up here. We're making a 90 degree angle. I'm going to show you from the front as well. A lot of you are going to stick your elbows out here. Bring those elbows in. Wrist, keep it neutral. We're not here. We're not bent. We want a straight line. And then we're going to take your elbow and push it. If you take your other hand here, push it into the hand. Then you're just going to hold. So when I did that, I felt a lot of muscles working kind of in the side of my shoulder. It feels like a productive, like, oh, this is hard, not a, ouch, this is a sharp pain. We don't want to push through the sharp pain. The, oh, this is hard is good. As you get tired, the elbow's going to come back and your elbow's going to go out. So we want to prevent that from happening, and you're just going to hold. Start with just holding this position. You can practice your breath work to kind of set the rib cage to create a stable surface, making sure we're breathing for a step up, We can add some marches. That's a good shoulder burn for sure. Did your elbow stick back out, bring it in. You will know if you're doing this one right. There's a very good burn. And then we can try the other side. You could do it walking around your house. You could march in place, or you could just hold it. That's fine too. So we're up 90 degrees. Push that elbow forward. Stack so the water bottle's above my elbow and my wrist is neutral. And we're breathing. This one for a mirror is probably a good idea. So you can see, are you staying or is your elbow kicking out? Progression of that is going to be actually adding a little bit of an overhead press. Most people, if this is totally new for you, that's going to turn into arching your back. We need to make sure we can actually set the rib cage. So that's an advanced version for those that want to try it. Please don't go ahead too soon. You get bonus points staying where you're at or a little lower to allow yourself to build up. All right, let's go through all those patterns again. We're going to do your squat, your hinge, your conventional, 6 reps of each. We're going to go back to back to back. So let's do it. So we got our squat. You also can do a single leg squat if you're ready for that, where you stack your books real high. One leg. Sit and push at the top. Don't hyperextend your knee. Try to come up and down, not squeezing. 2. Actually, I'm going to do 2 legs. 3. And my knee's already feeling better. I think it needed to be warmed up. Or sometimes you have to start at a higher surface and work your way up. Okay, let's go into a hinge. I'm going to use the foam roller. You don't have to have it here. Shoulders back, knees loose. Focusing on the backs of the legs or nothing. That's kind of what you want to feel. You are still working your low back, but tend to prefer feeling a little bit less there. And then just to show you a couple reps without that, we'll just kind of pretend you can slide your arms down your legs. Don't lose that shoulder setting. Breathe in as we go down, blow out as we come up. Next, we're going to do conventional. Place anything on the ground, dog treat, whatever. You can use a kettlebell, but that's going to be more advanced, so you got it. Get nice and close, shoulders, slide, knees bent, and come up. Versus you can just bend your knees, but then a lot of times our heels come up. That's where we do the hinge. All right, shoulders, hinge, bend, push through the ground. Shoulders, hinge, bend, push through the ground. Take a break if the postural changes are difficult for you. Wasn't very close to it that time. Let's do one more. It's okay to do a wider stance or a narrow stance. Honor your own anatomy. Grab a drink of water. Postural changes are hard. Let's go ahead and do our reaching up. Water bottle or just body weight. I'm going to do this seated this time. Up here, elbow forward, stacked. Make sure I'm not rotating my whole body. We're breathing. The weight's pulling my arm down. I'm gently pressing up to resist that. And breathing and holding. It's really exciting. And then other side. Press forward. I rotated my whole body, so I'm going to come back. Make sure your elbow doesn't come out. And overhead press optional. All right, it's difficult. And that is your squat, your hinge, your conventional deadlift, and working on strengthening up and forward. Those are all great. Variations of those are exercises that are really good to include and to start loading up in your day-to-day life after the series. This just lays the foundation of it. Lifting heavy is so important when we're ready for it, along with the right mobility work and stability work. So let me know how those patterns feel. Are you starting to notice the difference between them, or is it still confusing? It's totally normal to still be confusing at this stage. Keep practicing. It's just going to take repetition. And yeah, go back and watch those other videos if you need on the squat and the hinge. I think it was day 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, somewhere in there. And that's all I've got for today. And I will see you tomorrow.